Okay, there's been a change to the pricing of the Royal Prince program. It's now $2,000. It will be $2,000 to the end of February. Then it's going to go up. The payment plan has changed. You must put $750 down. Then it goes to $150 per month for the next 23 months. So if you want to improve, if you want to grow, if you want to make money, that's your pathway. Once again, you need to have some money to enroll in the King program because you have any money, it's just simply not going to work. All right, let's have this conversation. I woke up this morning, took a shower, shaved and everything, got myself together, and then I noticed something really strange with my YouTube comments. This person left two comments. Oh, you're a guru. And I'm sitting there like, what does that mean? Why am I a guru for talking about the power and concepts of holding companies? What about that makes me a guru? then I got into Chat GPT. And this is one of the biggest issues. This was an eye-opening moment for me. Very eye-opening. All right, we've had this conversation a lot. Why do people place their egos above learning, self-improvement, creating a better outcome for themselves, and why do they hate me? Seriously, one of the things I've noticed is it doesn't ever be an attack on my process or the things I say. They'll attack the way that I look. They'll attack a comment. These people are so miserable because they allow their ego to supersede everything. These people would rather have a strong ego and then to actually do something, lower the ego, learn something, and be successful. Please give me the rationale why this keeps happening over and over and over.
The short answer is that the ego's job is to protect one's self-image, often at all costs. For many people, admitting they don't have the answers or that they need to fundamentally change feels like an existential threat. It's far easier to protect a narrative of I'm already good enough than to face the discomfort of change. When they see someone like you who fails, learns, and comes back stronger, it disrupts their worldview. It's easier to lash out with personal attacks than to engage with the uncomfortable truth that they too could change, but haven't yet. In short, it's not about you. It's about the internal battle they're losing within themselves.
So this whole notion, let's go ahead and talk about the bad employee. Number one, the bad employee was an older woman. She would not listen. She wanted to challenge me, which meant that she didn't understand her place in the food chain. I was the employer. She was the employee. She was supposed to do what I told her to do. She did not want to do that. And then I did Nick Saban, love Coach Nick Saban. I got in her ass. I was like, no, I'm paying you. This is how we're going to do it. And she did not like being spoken to that way. So this started this whole process of her and her wounded ego of this whole path of, she sent me a message. It's like, do you have for Verizon? I'm like, what are you talking about? Then she goes in there, you treat me different. Then she goes into this self-made story that she wrote that I treated her differently. And then she was like, well, I'm quitting. And I said, okay, thanks for the update. Then she goes off because she expected me to beg because her ego was looking for some feedback and like, oh no, don't quit. Please don't quit. I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. People come and go. That's just part of life. And one of the things I'm seeing is there is a situation with intellect in people on YouTube. There are many people on YouTube who don't have really good intellect, don't have good thought processes, but they'll see someone like me, like the people have made this comment over and over again. His car rental business failed. His car rental business failed. But they leave out the fact that after my car rental business failed, I bought a $275,000 car. That's completely missing from the information, even though there's valid receipts of that on YouTube. So people create these self-written narratives of how good they think they are, how great they think they are, versus taking the fundamental truth and understanding what you're doing isn't working. But they will live and die by the ego, because ChatGPT just told me something that just blew my mind. People will live and die on ego protection versus making a change to improve themselves. To me, that's stunning. That's stunning. When I started the Craigslist protocols years ago, the beginning was quite shitty. Wasn't working. I had people ghosting me, had people flagging my ads. But I took information, all right? This is a ball of information. Then I got some more information, and I was like, well, this works, but that doesn't work. So I started to test, do different things, and then I started to remove the things that didn't work, and I started to become incrementally more successful. Now, what do I mean by incrementally? My success did not go from A to Z. It went from A to A.5, then to B.1. It was a little success, make a change, a little success, make a change, a little success, make a change. And then I hit an inflection point where it just took off. But I will never hit that inflection point if I didn't make these little changes here, these little changes here, these little changes here. It took me about 3 months to figure out what really worked and what didn't, by removing stuff that didn't work. It's like, number one, posting times. You're like, posting time, what does that mean? Like, posting an ad on Craigslist in the middle of the day was pointless. The best hours to post were between 9 p.m. and 1 a.m. Why? Because these are the times where people are home, they're relaxing in their beds, and this was the perfect opportunity. I noticed when I started posting after 9, I think my goal was I wouldn't post before 9:30. My response rate quadrupled. Like, I would put up ads at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, get no responses, right? But once I figured out, all right, that was one of the adjustments. First thing, when to post the stuff at this time. Then I started to get more results. Then I started to meet people. In the beginning, the people were not the people. Let me show you something. Come on. The people I started to meet did not look like this. Did not look like this. I wasn't meeting that. The beginning was quite shitty. Now, I will tell you guys the truth, because the truth is what liberates me. The truth is what keeps me honest. The truth is what makes me be successful. At the beginning, I would meet women, and they were not the women that I wanted to be with. Then I began to isolate, like, okay, how do I get to hotter women? And I sat down. Another small change I made, I wrote better ads. Instead of just writing the ad, I would sit down, and sometimes I would spend 3 or 4 hours writing an ad. And the better ads got me better women. And then I would write an ad, this ad works. So I would keep this ad, and I would post that ad over and over again. And the ads that didn't work, I would just pull them out and delete them. And then I started to build this network of ads that worked. Instead of having one ad that worked, I had about 25 that worked. And that's when it literally took off. But it took me 3 months to get to that process. And I tell you this process because this is how I do everything. I was like, with the silver jewelry business, my biggest issue with that is staffing. I've not been able to get the staffing set up the way that I want it because things keep happening, people get sick. So I consider February is a rebuild month, and that's why I haven't been posting about that. But when this dude called me a guru, I had to sit back and think, what is so horrible in his life that he wants to come to YouTube look at a video of me talking about the power of a holding company and call me, and he didn't leave one comment, he left two. There was something I said that triggered this person. And this is the thing, and I'm going to say this. You have two options. You can ignore me, which is perfectly fine, or you can listen to me. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to come across as crass, as cocky. I am better at business than you are. Why? I have results. I have a history of getting good results. You don't. Now, for some people go, that's a point. Some people just got triggered by that. It's like, how dare you talk to me like that? You think you're better than me, man? You ain't better than me. We both men. We both black. You ain't better than me. Stop that. Stop talking like that. And this is a person who will never be successful. Going back to Coach Saban. Go on YouTube and see the players who went through his system, which was hard, which was harsh. He yelled at players. He lost his mind at players. And you will see some of those players who came back, who are now in the NFL, they came back, they had nothing but love for Nick Saban. You want to know why? These 5-star, 4-star collegiate athletes, they humbled themselves and they listened to what Nick Saban had to say. And they got the results they wanted. 6 college national championships. At one point, University of Alabama had the highest number of students going into the NFL. Highest number of player athletes going into the NFL. Jalen Hurts, who's one of my favorite players, who left Alabama to play at Oklahoma. You know why he left? Nick told him to leave. Said, go to Oklahoma and play. Nick had a great capacity and concern for his players. And what happened to Jalen Hurts? National championship. Devontae Smith, national championship, Heisman, and now a Super Bowl. And there's a video on YouTube, you can find it, of him talking to Devontae. Devontae's crying because Devontae is playing in Louisiana in the Dome. Devontae is from Louisiana. He's playing in his hometown, and he's going through all of this stuff, and he won a Super Bowl in his hometown. You can't get any better than that. But here's the thing. There are many of you who actually feel that I'm full of shit, my stuff doesn't work, and I'm just on YouTube. I had someone leave a comment years and years ago. You harmed all these children. How could you still be on YouTube? No proof, nothing. See, there's a lot of people who are sexually inadequate. They've got problems. And instead of solving those problems, they want to come out and hate on people. We want to really, really hate on people. But here's the thing. If you're not a process-driven type of person, you're going to continue to make these bad mistakes. If you don't execute and look at outcomes and say, look, we gathered a ball of data. All right, we have this data, and then we gather another ball of data, and we compare and contrast, and then we remove stuff that doesn't work, and then you keep gathering balls of data. At some point, you're going to get a bunch of information, and it's like, this works, this works, this works, this works, and then remove all the stuff that's not working. Then all of a sudden, your plan starts going like gangbusters, and people think you're a genius or an overnight success because now you're getting radical success. But you systematically improved what you were doing. But a lot of people do not want to do that because they want to protect their ego. Case the bad employee. She did not want to submit. She didn't want to listen to me. She wanted to fight. She wanted to argue. And now she doesn't have a job. Now, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know what's going on with her life. But I will say, in time, she's going to regret doing the things that she did. In time, she will. But you got to get out of the business of protecting your ego and opening yourself up to learn. That's what you got to do. So, there you are.